Hello and welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to be sharing some Ayurvedic rituals. These are rituals that I do in the morning, and they're great at clearing the nasal passages, the bronchial area, mucus that could be building up. Definitely what we need right now is a coronavirus spreading. Ayurveda goes back 4,000 or 5,000 years, long before this virus was known to us. It was used to build a healthy, strong body. It's excellent if you have allergies and to help defend against anything else that's in your environment. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I created a little checklist that I'm going to share with you. And what we're going to do is we're going to start first with the tongue. And I highly recommend that each of you find a tongue scraper. You can find these pretty much anywhere. Mine is stainless steel, really easy to keep clean. In the nighttime when you're sleeping, your body is healing. And part of that healing process includes detox. And your body is detoxing through different areas of your body, through your skin, detoxing as you exhale. And some of these toxins will accumulate on your tongue. And so when you wake up in the morning and you stick your tongue out, you might see there's a film on your tongue. Those are toxins. If you leave those toxins on your tongue, they'll be re-ingested. And we want to get rid of those. You can brush your teeth and brush your tongue, but brushing sometimes pushes those toxins down. This is a lot more effective at removing toxins, and it's super easy to use. You open your mouth, stick your tongue out, and you scrape 4 or 5 times, rinsing in the sink in between. Then you clean it off. I use essential oils to clean mine. You can use hydrogen peroxide. Rinsing it off in between will keep this clean. And so that's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, get those toxins off my tongue. And then our next practice is called oil pulling. And you might have heard about oil pulling. Even though this was created 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, there's been a resurgence of this practice. What you do is you find an oil, and I'm using organic sesame seed oil. I only use oil that I would ingest. And so you want unrefined and you want organic. I use sesame seed oil. It's one of my favorites. But you can use coconut oil, safflower oil. Put a tablespoon into your mouth and swish it. Swish it around your mouth for 5 minutes. Now, this doesn't mean that you're out of commission for 5 minutes. You can walk around. What I do is I get started on my next practices, and so that I'll be ready. But hold it as long as you can in your mouth, swish it around. Clench your teeth together and swish it so that oil is going in between the teeth. This helps to strengthen the gums. This is also a detoxifier. So what's happening is that oil is swishing. It's pulling toxins from the gums, from the mouth. And these, again, are toxins that were accumulated while you were sleeping. So swish, 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 swish it along the gum line in between the teeth. You'll notice that your mouth will become a little more full because as you're swishing, your saliva will build up too. So you want to put only a tablespoon in, even though you may be able to hold more in because eventually your mouth will be full. Swish it as long as you can, up to 10 minutes if you can. And then we're going to spit this out. I spit mine into the trash can. People find different places. Don't put it down your drain. It isn't oil. We don't want to clog our drains. And don't swallow it. There are toxins that are in your mouth that are being pulled out. We don't want to re-ingest that back into our body. So you want to expel it. You want to spit it out somewhere. Again, I put mine in the trash can. No big deal. And our next step is going to rinse our nasal passage. So we're going to clear all of this out. So we scraped our tongue. We did oil pulling. Our next practice is going to clean the nasal passages. And I do this using a neti. A neti pot is made out of ceramic. I've seen some plastic ones. I would really check to see the plastic ones that it's BPA safe, because you're going to be putting warm water in here and you don't want any additional toxins being added to your water. And so this is like a little teapot, right? And so you put a quarter teaspoon of salt. And I have this special neti salt that I find at, I can find it at Sprouts or any of the health food stores. In fact, I think you can even find it at regular grocery stores now. And I just add a quarter of a teaspoon into my neti pot. And I'll pour warm water, not hot, because it's going to be going through your nasal passages. You don't want to burn your nasal passage. Warm water, so I touch it and it feels warm. It feels probably body temperature, then I know it's perfect. I add the water in here, and then I go to the restroom, to my bathroom sink. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put it on one side of my nostril, and I'm going to pour that water, and the water is going to run up through the nasal passages and out the other side. It can be uncomfortable the first few times you practice this, but as you do this more often, it'll be comfortable for you. And so what you're doing is you're running the water through, and it's going up through the nasal passages, pulling out any excess mucus, any pollen that's been in there, any other foreign objects that might have been lodged up in the nasal passages, clearing that way, and it's going to run out the other side. I go both directions, so I'll put it on the other side, let it run out the other direction too, making sure I didn't miss anything. As the mucus builds up in your nasal passages, it can mat down your defenses that protect you against the viruses coming in. And so you want to keep that passage nice and clear. And the neti is an excellent way to do that. Now, I told you that when you're doing your oil pulling, you don't have to just stand around for 5 minutes. So what I'm doing is, while I'm swishing the oil in my mouth, I'm at my stove and I'm warming up my water for my neti. And then it goes really fast. I put my salt in there, I spit out my oil, my neti water's warm, I quickly go in and I can neti. And so it doesn't take much time at all. While I'm pouring my warm water into my neti pot, I'm also pouring warm water into a mug that I've put salt into. You can use your neti salt, but this is a little more expensive. I also have a Celtic sea salt, Himalayan sea salt, something again that has a good quality, not iodized salt. That's not a healthy choice for you. But I've put maybe maybe a full teaspoon of salt into my mug, poured some hot water. After I neti, I'm going to sip on this water and gargle. I'm going to put it in my mouth and gargle. So now I'm rinsing out my tonsils. If you don't have your tonsils, the back of your throat. So you gargle, spit that back into the sink. So now you're clearing this area right here. And so take a swig, gargle it out, spit it out. I usually fill my cup at least halfway. Part of that water is going to be used to swish my mouth. Because I've had oil in my mouth, I don't care for that feeling. And so I'll keep some of my salt water, my warm salt water, and just kind of rinse my mouth out with it and let that go. So really simple techniques. You can, again, use coconut oil for swishing here. That's okay. Now I'm ready to brush my teeth just like you would any morning. Clean your teeth out really nice and clean. Also, with my warm water, I'm going to fill a mug. Maybe it's a to-go mug that I'm going to take with me to work. But I'm going to have some hot water with me throughout the day. Sipping on warm to hot water helps to loosen the mucus that's in your chest. This is a practice that we use in Ayurveda, not only to loosen up this mucus, it keeps the digestive fire going. And that heat in our gut keeps us healthy. Some people say it helps them lose weight, but it's an excellent way right now to keep our chest open. And so you're just going to be sipping on warm or hot water throughout the day. Now I added a tea to mine. Now, when I say tea, this is an herbal tea. There actually is no tea. There's no caffeine in here. This is Tulsi. Tulsi is one of those herbs that are just wonderful for our immune system. And so I have a little bit of tea in here. You can add some lemon. Maybe you want to put a little apple cider vinegar or a cucumber, something to add some flavor. That's fine. So that's it. Really simple practices that you can add to your morning schedule to help keep your immune system strong. Everything's working, everything's clear. You'll be able to defend against the coronavirus. I have my little checklist here. As you can see, you want to start with the tongue. You're going to scrape your tongue, move on to your mouth. You're going to do some oil pulling, a tablespoon of oil, swish it around in your mouth. And then we're going to clean the nasal passages. We do that with our neti and a quarter teaspoon of nasal salt. Move on to our throat. We have our salt water that we're going to gargle and swish around in our mouth. And then we move to our chest. And the chest is when we're just sipping water throughout the day. Again, these are really simple techniques you can add to your morning practice that will make a big difference in your health. So I hope that you've enjoyed that. Oh, you might have noticed that I didn't mention the ears. I'm going to do another short video on practices that we do in the PM, in the evening, and that's going to include the ears. So you'll see the ears in the evening practices. So I hope that you've enjoyed this short video on different ways that you can use Ayurvedic to stay healthy. So I send my best to you and be well.